Good evening everybody and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well and I also hope you are having a good day so far. So PGA Tour 2K21. This could well be your first game in the golf franchise that is developed by HB Studios, or similar to myself and many others in the community, maybe you've been playing since it all began with the golf club back in 2014. Maybe even started playing somewhere in between with either the Golf Club 2 or the Golf Club 2019. Now I know there was quite an increase in players on the Golf Club 2019 back in early 2020. Kind of two reasons, or the announcement of 2K21, as well as also with current ongoing events in the world where so many of us ended up being stuck at home. So people were picking up the game and maybe picking it up on sale and giving it a go. But regardless of when you started playing, whether it was TGC1 or 2K21, I'm sure you've at least heard the phrase true sim at some point anyway. Maybe you've tried it and with a big fat nope, that's not for me, quit quicker than you started. Maybe you play true sim on a regular basis and are just looking to improve at it. But for those of you who have never tried it, I've heard of it, but again, or maybe have tried it and have shied away from it, hopefully this video can maybe help show you that it's not as daunting as what you think it can be. I think the biggest way that people shy away from is the lack of the likes of the green grid. So what I'm going to cover today in this video is basic settings of what you can expect for true sim. Then we're going to jump down onto a course. I'll find a hole that is going to suit best to demonstrate everything, and I'll go through some basic gameplay sort of stuff, and then we will finish up with on the green, reading the putts and what to be looking for. So let's get straight on into things. We'll jump on into the settings. So here we are in the settings, and now if you play in any societies that are true sim, it doesn't matter if you have all of the settings on, they will automatically switch off, bar one that you will need to make sure that you have on, which I'll go over that now in a minute. But yeah, they'll automatically switch off or switch to true sim depending on what the society president has set them to. So first off, we're going to go into difficulty. Now, I couldn't care less what swing difficulty you play on. You could be playing on rookie, pro-am, pro, master, legend, whatever. It makes absolutely no difference at all. I'm not the kind of person who's going to judge you for playing on rookie with swing timing off, or whether you play on legend with swing timing on. I literally, as I say, I don't care what you play on. It makes no difference at all. Distance control meter, that's another one. This is all the sort of basic stuff that I'll have off personally myself anyway, but again, sort of stuff, if you want to have it on, by all means go ahead. Course yardage, this one I do keep on. Now I have put it towards 2K and HB, whether or not this could be brought back in the Golf Club 2019. I'm pretty sure the Golf Club 2 as well. I can't remember far back enough. I don't know if it was a thing in the Golf Club 1, but if we have this fully on, you're going to see your yardages and all that sort of stuff on screen, and your elevation and such. If we change it to book only, I'm pretty sure it still stays on the screen. Actually, I was testing it out earlier and I couldn't get it to go off, but it says that it'll be in your yardage book only. But one thing that I'd like to see added is, for if it's the book only, that even if you change it to book only, it's not going to show your elevation changes. I'd like to see that into the yardage book, as well as on the greens, some sort of arrow directions and color grading, similar to if you have got the grids on. So maybe green arrows pointing in a certain direction for uphill, downhill, whatever, the flow of the slope of the green, changing to red for more severe and such. Because I mean, if you have a yardage book on a course, you're going to have that sort of detail where you can see the flow of the green, so you can say, okay, well, if the pin is here, I aim here, the ball's going to slope this way, I can use the contours of the green and such. I'd like to see that sort of thing implemented. But what else I'd like to also see is in TGC 2019 and TGC 2, that I know 100% anyway, you could, well, I'm pretty sure TGC 2, you could change the distances from precise to ranged. So just say, for example, you had an approach shot into a green that was 130 yards. and it's up 15 feet, we'll say. If you change it to ranged, instead of saying 130 up 15, it might say something, for example, like 120 to 140 yards to the pin, and up 10 to 20. Now, it's not your actual measurements wouldn't always be bang on splitting down the middle of those numbers, but you get what I mean. That's one thing that I'd like to see, just to give it a little bit more of the old true sim style. So everything else, the usual that I have off, is all of the Pro Vision. Again, if you want to have any of these on, by all means work away. The first thing that we're going to need to change otherwise is Scout Cam. Now, you may have this set to fully on, that's perfectly fine. Personally myself, I have it to UI off. It just takes away the aim and circle and stuff. I still get the distances and all if I do have assists on. But the first thing that we need to change is the Scout Camera. So no pressing, for PS4 anyway, no pressing triangle and zooming down the fairway or zooming into the green. Next one, the lie grid, so the little grid that appears at your feet when you bring up the shot modifier. We turn that off. Next one, the big one that I think seems to scare a good number of people away from True Sim, is the green grid. That needs to go. Pin preference, makes no difference at all whether you want that in or out. Aim marker. Now, what the likes of what myself and I'm pretty sure, yeah, TGC Tours do it as well with their True Sim Society, is they'll have this to marker only. Now, I keep marker only on. So there's no distances at all, no elevation change shown beside the marker. It's literally just a marker. The only reason for that is just a reference point for aiming. So if you have that off, you're really on full on hard mode, you know. I used to do that in TGC 2019, but it's a little bit better with the marker. Wind display, so meter only. You're not going to have your wind speed shown to the right of the little circle at the top of your screen with the wind direction, so meter only for that. And distance display, to be honest, you can have this whatever you want. If you want to have the total, the carry and the rollout distance in the UI, by all means go ahead as well. Personally myself, it's just carry. So that's everything in there. So I said a minute ago about one thing that you'll always need to make sure that you change personally yourself if going into a society and you have everything on, is just in here, and that is the approach and putting cameras. You need to make sure that you have this on, because once you switch off, or in a society, it's automatically disabled the Scout Camera. You're not going to be able to get down into the worm cam to read the greens. Now, if you have no idea what the worm cam is, I will go into detail on that, or I'll show you that when we get onto the green later on in the video. But you will need to make sure that you have that on. Now, I do think that it is a case of where if you forget to put it on and you're on the green and you realise, oh crap, I forgot to put it on, you come into your settings and you turn it on for that particular putt, you won't be able to use it. But if you miss that putt, so the putt after that or the following hole, from then on, it will be in effect. So the follow camera, personally myself, I keep that off, so I manipulate the camera angles through the D-pad on the controller by myself, but you can have that on if you want. And I think, yeah, that's everything in here. Is there another one? Yeah, one thing right down at the bottom. I think it's down at the bottom. Where is it? Where are you gone? Show flag marker. I do recommend keeping that on, just so that you do have a reference point for aiming at. You can see where the pin is or where the hole is located, because as I've mentioned in previous videos, if there's spectators on, or maybe just trees or something like that in the background, you say, for example, you're on a second shot on a par 5, maybe it's reachable. Sometimes the flag can blend in with the background, so you might not be able to see it, but if you have the flag marker on, excuse me, you'll be able to see where the pin is. So I do recommend keeping that on. I always keep it on myself. And that should be absolutely everything now for the settings. So what I'll do is I'll pick out a course and I'll find a hole that is going to let me best demonstrate everything, and we'll pick things up from there. Okay, so here we are on the tee of hole number 7 of Arctic Fury's latest course, Pearl Mountain 2. Now the reason why we're on hole number 7 and sitting at 3 under par is because I'm an idiot, and after doing the settings section just a moment ago, I stopped the recording, came onto the course, and I had started on, what was it, hole 4 or 5 was it? Let's just have a little quick look. Hole number 5 is where it started for the demonstration, and once I finished done the outro for the video, I closed the game, went in to go and edit the video, and realised, yeah, I'm an idiot, never saved the recording. So here we are back on hole number 7. But to be honest, actually, I think this might be a little bit better for what I want to talk about, for the things to look out for when playing True Sim. So, if you've ever seen any of Crazy Canuck's course design tutorials, the Course Design 101 series, one thing that he mentions is your lines of sight. And B101 as well, with his design videos, he does the same thing as well. That your lines of sight are very important, and a number of designers actually don't. I don't think it's intentional. I think it's more so, in my opinion anyway, just more so because of the fact that you'll have the scout camera on in general gameplay that you can zoom down anyway, so it's not overly guaranteed, or guaranteed necessary, should I say. But if you're playing True Sim, it is kind of required to have good sight lines and reference points as well. So straight away, we've got a nice elevated tee, downhill tee shot, and we can see plenty of bunkers over here. Now I'll talk about the wind in a second. Excuse me. But your best friend in a True Sim round or event is going to be this fella here, your yardage book or the overhead. And what you can do is you can open this up and you can find those, as I mentioned a moment ago, those reference points, those landmarks. It could be a bunker, it could be a tree, it could be, if there's houses or buildings off to the side of the hole that might be maybe just running along the edge of the course or something. Find those and use those as aiming points. So what we can see here is we've got plenty of bunkers. We've got the marker hovering over these ones here. So if we look at these bunkers here on the overhead, that will be all of these here. So I know now, being downhill, right, I've got a, 270, I'm on a 3-wood there, 277 yard carry on my driver. So if I go up to 277 yards, I know I can make it right up into this narrow section of a fairway here. Now, keeping in mind, we have got a downhill as well. We are 31 feet down, so you're talking, you're going to get about another, wind depending. This wind now, I should get at least another 10 yards carry out of that. I'll probably carry roughly around about anywhere from 290 to 300, I'd say. So maybe a little bit more than 10. But what we want to do is we want to look at that and kind of say, right, I'm going to roughly land down somewhere between 290 and 300 yards. So if we go to the 290 setting, or 290 distance, should I say, not setting, and then go up to 300, okay. Right, so we've got good wide landing area here. Now that looks like it's going to be sort of here, where the marker is now in the fairway. Reasonably wide, but we've also got to take into account the rollout of the ball as well. So probably going to get anywhere, depending on the firmness and the slope of the fairway, as well as the wind pushing the ball, if it's a tailwind. I could get anywhere from a 20, 30, maybe even 40 yard rollout. So we're going to go up to here. I'm going to see, right, the furthest point, 335. It looks like from here, the fairway is going to turn to the right. So if I aim probably roughly around about just over here, just on the edge, which would be roughly around about here, I'm hoping that the ball should carry back into the fairway then. So the wind as well, actually, before I do take the shot, as you can see, obviously we have not got the wind speed on screen. We've just got the circle with the direction, and that circle is a little bit filled up, slightly grey. So if you've never played without the wind speed before, general sort of rule of thumb is the more full the circle is grey, the stronger the wind. And half full is going to be roughly around about 12-13 mile per hour. Where it is now, to me, looks like it's going to be somewhere in the region of about 6 to 8 mile per hour. So I want to make sure that I don't know why I brought that back up. I want to make sure that I have enough coverage and hope that I do get a perfect swing as well, that the ball is going to come back around. So this looks just nice. Let's take our tee shot again. Hopefully I don't hit it fast and end up down into the water. We do get the perfect, and it's coming around nice, so we'll just chase that ball. So we looked at our reference points, used those bunkers as sort of landmarks, and referenced them on the yardage book as well, and saw, okay, we can aim here, and we know our distances. Now we've got a bit of a blind shot into the green. Now this can happen as well with your tee shots. You're not always guaranteed to have great sight lines. You could have a good uphill off the tee, so a bit of a blind tee shot. So keep that in mind as well. But finding something, you'll always be able to find something. Now what I did not show you there, which I did show in the last recording that I didn't save, just imagine for a second. I'll tell you what, I'll do one more hole after this and I'll show it to you there. So we're left now with 68 yards to the pin, up 22. So we're going to round that to be up 21, add on 7. So it's going to be playing about 75 yards to the pin. So again, we're going to bring up. Now keep in mind as well, we're on a severe upslope. So I might need to put another yard or two on there. And I'll just aim out a little bit for the wind, just to allow that to pull across. I'll aim roughly about there. But what we're going to do now, down the bottom right, as you can see, I've got L1 and R1 as my button prompts. Depending on especially if you're on PC, I'm using mouse and keyboard. Again, I don't know the key bindings. Same for Stadia or Switch. But Xbox, it should be, or Xbox controller on PC, should be left and right bumpers. So I'm going to zoom in for the green. And I can see straight away by this pin placement that I have got plenty of room to work with to run up to the hole. Now, at the start of the video, I did in the settings, I did say about the follow cam. I'd have that off all the time anyway, and I use the D-pad to change the different camera angles. One thing that you should do is just press up if you're coming into the green, so you can see, so you can chase in behind the ball and see the way the ball is going to roll out. So we've got 68 playing roughly 75 to the pin. So what are we set up for? I'm set up on a lob wedge. I don't think that's going to get there. Playing about 75, so that's going to be a sand wedge for me. The wind has actually changed to a crosswind, so this should be good. So if it's playing about 75, we're on a good uphill. I'm expecting this to sit fairly quick without any adjustments. But what I will do, just in case, I'll just slightly touch the D-loft, push that up a little bit, but change the attack angle as well, just to get it to sit a little bit quicker. A little bit of spin on it. Let's see how this one goes, and I will chase in behind the ball so we can see any rollout. Now I got a slow there. Oh no, I didn't. So it's coming around nicely, and it's in pretty quick. Stop nice and quick. Looks like we're inside 10 feet. So we've had a good little approach in there. Now, so this is the part of True Sim that I think scares a lot of people away, and that is the lack of the green grids, because it can be, if you're not familiar with what to be looking for, it can be very difficult to read the greens, but it's not as daunting as what you might think it is. Two rules of thumb that I always do, even with aids on, straight away, as soon as I'm on the green, I do not touch that. I do not change the distance of this marker, so I do not move it around at all. I keep it at the default, so I can reset that now by pressing R1, and it's back to where the game defaulted the marker. I always leave that at that distance. I do not change that. Second thing, I always put the pin in. So pin preference in or out, that's entirely up to yourself. I have mine set to out, but I always put it in regardless of the putt. So the approach and putting camera, we have that on, and that is now going to allow me to press triangle and get down into, if you've never heard of it before, the worm cam. So we're down at ground level, and what I'm looking for is two things. I'm looking at the position of the ball and the golfer's feet. I'm going to say, I want to know, is it level at the feet? Is the ball above the feet, below the feet? And here straight away you can see it is above the feet. The second thing that I'm looking for, I'll show you again from behind the pin, but if you look at the flag stick, I want to see is that level. Now a good way to be able to do this is just have a look at your wind meter and see is the flag stick running up right through the middle of that wind meter. If it's running right up, well then you should be pretty much level around the hole. We can see it's slightly leaning to the left, it's not perfectly straight. So that tells me again, around the hole we're going to have a bit of a right to left break on it. So I'll come in behind the hole and we'll do the same, and as you can see it's now leaning off to the right of the wind meter, so we have definitely got that right to left break. Always keep in mind as well, when you're looking from this direction, I fall into this trap regularly myself, is that when you come back to take the putt, your brain doesn't reverse it again. So if you're looking from here and you're saying, okay, it's going left, it's leaning from left to right now, and then as I say, you come back to take your putt and just your brain is thinking left to right, and you go and you aim off here by mistake. So always keep that one in mind. But again, Looking from behind, we can see that the ball is above the golfer's feet, just very slightly, not too much, and we have got right to left break around the hole as well. So how do we work out what the break is going to be? There's a couple of ways. One thing is from behind here, I'll kind of just move the camera over, just pan it around just with the left stick, just until the flag stick looks like it's sort of starting to straighten itself up. But what I'll also do is I'll come back down here. Now this is not 100% guaranteed. It did actually work for me in the last attempt at recording this. Worked out perfectly. It was a 19-foot putt and it just cruised straight in. But I'll come back down into the worm cam, lowest point, and what I'm going to do, maybe you do this yourself if you do play golf in real life, or maybe you've seen the pros doing it on the PGA Tour if you're watching an event. When a golfer hunkers down and they hold the putter by the grip up in front of them, between them and the hole, looking at it, it's kind of, that's the best way that I can describe doing this. Excuse me. And that is to line the putter shaft up at the hole. So you can see the little bit of a gap between, if you do a horizontal line from the hole to the putter shaft, that already tells me that's how far that I want to break out, so, or push out for the break. So if we come out, I'm going to come out a little bit and then I'm going to come back into the worm cam, a little bit more, and all the way back down. And now that putter shaft is cutting right across where the pin meets the hole, and hopefully it works out again like it did in the previous recording, or attempt to record. That is pretty much where I want to aim for. Now, if this was to be the other way around, because as you can see, like, I mean, it's easy enough with a right to left break. But if we reset that and just imagine for a second that this is a left to right break, I'll just demonstrate it or show it real quick. So again, we're having a little look. We look down, okay, it's roughly that distance, so I know, right, I can aim about here. But what you can also do is you can aim out, you can line your putter shaft up. Don't take the putt. Line your putter shaft up and say, okay, right, we're cutting across the middle of the hole now with the putter shaft. We'll have a little look at how far out to the right. And again, if it's a left to right break, all you need to do now is just pretty much come back across and come out that same sort of distance. And then have a little look down. And if I just, in my head right now, just draw a straight line up. Let's just see roughly. Yeah, that looks like it would have been about right, looking for where the putter shaft is. So let's just set that back up again. Should be roughly here. Another little touch out. Don't take the putt. I keep doing that. Okay, so let's see if we can get this put in. Again, I haven't touched the distance on the marker. So another thing as well with putting, even with assists on, I never take for granted that putt is going to drop. No putting method is guaranteed to drop your putts all the time. In true sim, even a 1 foot putt can miss. Whether you're 1 foot or 100 feet away, I always aim for a minimum of 2 putts. Escape them apart, that's all I'm looking for. But let's see if we can get a birdie on here and see if I aimed this one right. Oh, turn in for me. There you go, just about caught that right edge there. I was a little bit heavy on that. But what if that ball had have missed? What I would then do is I would be chasing. I would press up on the D-pad to chase the ball, and I would watch the path that the ball takes from the point at where it misses the hole to where it stops, and you'll get a good idea of your break then for your follow-up putt. So keep that one in mind as well. So what I wanted to demonstrate, what I forgot to demonstrate on the last hole was, you have no scout camera. So just imagine for a second this is a par 4 or a par 3, and you can't really see your reference points to aim at. You have no real landmarks like bunkers or anything like that. What you can do is you can change to your putter. It's kind of like a little loophole. Now, I don't use this myself. My own personal opinion, I feel this takes away from the true sim experience. But what I call the drone camera. So on the putter, because we've got the approach and putting camera on, if I press triangle and then if I push up on the stick and just hold it, we're going to zoom right up into the sky. And now when I slowly pull back on the left stick, or rapidly even, that camera is going to change and you're going to get just a little bit of a glimpse. You can do this as many times as you want as well, just up and down, and you'll get a little bit of a look down the fairway if you're on a par 4 or par 5, or even into a par 3 like this. But just always remember, change back. Now a quick way in this game to change back to what the game defaulted, again just press R1 and there you go, I'm back onto the 8 iron. So we'll play this hole again and we'll see if we can get another birdie real quick. So 157 to the pin and it's up 10 feet. So again I'm going to bring up my yardage book and I'm going to zoom into the green and I can see straight away the path. I've got a little bit of room between here on the green, which is 152 yards, and then up to the pin, a little bit of run out. So 152 yards, we'll say it's roughly up 10 feet at that point as well, so say it's playing more 155 to that point of the start of the green if you're going directly at the hole. So I've got 160. Right, so we're perfect for an 8 iron in, but obviously that's to the pin. So I want to take a little bit off this. I'm going to put about half loft on. I'll do a little bit of attack angle as well, just put a bit of spin on it, just to get it to sit a little bit quicker. And we'll just aim out. Hopefully I get a perfect here, but if not, we'll see what happens. Oh, we did get the perfect, just about. So we'll chase that ball now, and we want to watch for any rollout. I took a little bit too much off that, but it did get a little bounce. And as you can see, that's rolling pretty straight. Starting to turn a little bit to the right there, so I should have a left to right putt here. Possibly slightly uphill. So again, pop our pin in, don't touch the marker, don't adjust that. Down into our worm cam. Now, what I mentioned on the previous hole, if we have a look at that pin, that looks to be going straight up through the middle of the wind circle, so that's telling me that it should be relatively straight or flat in and around the immediate area of the hole. It looks to be pretty level around the feet, so so far it's looking good for a straight putt, but we will check from this side as well. And yeah, sure enough, again, ball position and hole, it looks like it's going to be a straight putt. But what I'm now looking for, from both angles, from this angle as well as from here, I'm looking at the little colour tones on the green, those little darker patches and lighter patches, and I'm trying to see if they're going to give some hint of any little break. But what I can see here, it doesn't look like it. Now I could be wrong, there could be a very, very subtle little bit of break between the ball and the hole, but we'll play it for straight anyway and see if we can get ourselves another birdie, provided I don't push or pull it, and straight into the pin. So that's pretty much, so there's 4 birdies in a row, 5 under through 8 holes. Now I'm very, very rarely these days guaranteed to get somewhere like that, that sort of score in any sort of true sim. But I mean, it's just a fun method, it's just a fun way of playing the game. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut back out to the menu, and I'll just talk a little bit more about my personal thoughts on true sim. So because this is my second recording of this, I can't remember if I did say when doing those 2 holes or at the start now at this point, but in regards to true sim, my personal opinion is I don't treat or consider this to be a competitive style of play. I know there are players who do play competitively in true sim, but for me personally, the closest thing to being competitive or anything like that is just a personal sort of challenge, personal experience, and trying to see how well you can do with playing without the assists on. But otherwise, strictly just a fun mode, fun way of playing the game. And for a lot of people, especially if you're only brand new, if you've never tried it before, is stepping outside that comfort zone with removing those aids. You can even gradually build yourself up to having all the aids off or adjusted that I showed at the beginning of the video. Take them off one by one and get a feel for taking off just the green grid. Have everything else on, get a feel for just without the green grid, or even the lie grid or the wind speed, whatever one you want, and work yourself up to having every single one of them off. But yeah, it's definitely a fun thing, and if you think that hitting an approach shot on a par 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, into a green perfectly, the ball runs right up to the hole, you leave yourself with a tap in. If it's a par 5, you leave yourself with a tap in for an eagle. If you got there in 2, or a nice birdie, a little tap in birdie, be a par 4 or 5, whatever. If you think that is actually rewarding, hitting those great shots in, when you do it on true sim, it's, for me anyway, the way that I describe it, I multiply it by 10. It really is a great feeling. You think to yourself, I've worked that out without any of the assists that the game gives me. and I've gotten away. I've gotten that birdie. I've got a beautiful, beautiful shot into the green. Got the birdie, or I'll say if you reach a par 5 and 2, you got that eagle. And it really, really is a very, very rewarding experience. And to be honest, what it can also do is it can actually help you play a little bit better with the assists on. So when you go back into a round and play with the assists on, you can say, oh yeah, straight away you can read the green with the grids on, because you're looking at those little reference things, like the pin, the position of the pin if you go into the worm cam and such, and straight away see then referencing those against the beads on the green and the slope of the lines, and you start draining more putts. So it can actually help. It can actually benefit you in that way. But that is where I'm going to leave this video. I cannot again remember if I did say it, but if you do actually play True Sim regularly yourself, even if you're, and especially if you're one of the top players in the True Sim, in the True Sim style of play, feel free to drop it down in the comments if you think that I've missed anything that I didn't cover, or if you have your own little tips that might be different from what I've shown. Feel free to drop those in the comments for anybody who does want to start out and try out True Sim, or maybe try again at True Sim. But also, if you've never played, drop it down in the comments below if you think there's something else I could go into a little bit more detail on, or let me know your thoughts on it. Are you going to maybe consider giving True Sim a go now that you've seen that it's not actually as daunting as what it's made out to be? But that is where I'm going to leave this video, and thank you all very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope maybe you also found it informative as well, and if you did, don't forget to drop it a like. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit subscribe. I shall talk to you all in the next one. Until then, take care, have yourselves a good one, and bye for now.